Well, that was a better week than last week, and overall, a pretty good month. I'll give you a rough idea how it went, and other things I've been up to too. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dave from Anvil Logistics, and it's Friday. It's Friday evening. Wife's gone out, and I've been left at home doing the books. I finished them, everything's up to date, gone through the month, gone through the payments that were due and in, marked them off, put my VAT away, everything like that. And overall, the month of October was a good month for Anvil. There was one disappointing week, which was last week, and obviously I explained that to you, but it was still an on-target week. It's just that recently I've been going over target nearly all the time, that it felt a bit like a disappointment. But I'm pleased to report that this week has been a good week. Over target, cash surplus, again, money getting put away, ready for the lean times that are to come after Christmas, because I fully expect it to be a very lean January. So all in all, pretty pleased. And last week was a good week because I also got help. And the help, first of all, was from everybody's favourite shipper, James from Freddie Fletcher. Little picture of him here with his YouTube page. Because he gave me some work, and the work that he gives you is always decent work. It's always very reasonably paid, and because hopefully he's pleased with the work that I do for him, he does give me, reasonably regular work. But I will say he wouldn't give me that work if he didn't think that I was a decent driver. So it works both ways, doesn't it? But it's good of him to give me that work, and I am grateful for it. And also, I'm going to give a mention to everybody's favourite man north of the border, Neil from Neptune Couriers. A little picture of his YouTube page here. There's our Neil. Now, he helped me out as well, because I'll tell you why. Because I took a job for James going to Scotland. And the job itself was a great job, but it wasn't leaving as early as I would like to leave. It was going to Edinburgh, and it was picking up at 9 o'clock. So it meant that by the time I get to Edinburgh, it was going to be mid-afternoon. It's not a good time to try and pick up a return load, and I was kind of thinking I may possibly have to tramp out. Well, my idea of tramping out is to stay in a travel lodge nowadays, especially in this colder weather. But Neil, he kept me informed of work that was coming out in Scotland, even though he was down south, told me about a job that was going down south, encouraged me to bid for it, and because he knew the shipper, he put a word in for me. And that shipper, on Neil's advice, that he would vouch for me and that I would do a good job, meant that I got that job, which was a return to Loughborough. So from Glasgow to Loughborough, delivering to Loughborough in the morning. So it meant that I could go and pick it up in Glasgow, go home, got home about 7 p.m, have a night in the house, get up early in the morning and get down to Loughborough. And I was lucky enough, I got a job from Loughborough up to Doncaster in the morning, and then from Doncaster to Huddersfield. So it all worked out really nice. And that was because of, well, friends, people you know, people you've got to know. And that's what I'm saying is I'm encouraging people in this industry. You've got to get to know people who can help you, and perhaps you can help them. Don't just rely on the CX. Get to know, do a bit of networking, and get to know people. And the more that you're known, the more chance you've got of picking up work from places other than the CX, or even on the CX, if the shippers know you. if they know you as a good driver, then when you put your bid in, they may recognise you and think, no, he's a good one or she's a good one. And let's give them the job because we know that's going to get covered. Get yourself known as a reliable driver. Let people think that if they give you the job, that it's as good as done. And then you stand more chance of picking up more work, don't you? Now, Neil from Neptune Couriers, don't be confused with the poor imitation. The imitation being the new company that's appeared on the CX, which is, to my mind, is a blatant copy and shouldn't be allowed. A firm's appeared calling themselves Neptune Logistics Limited, which seems a strange coincidence to me. You get such a random name like Neptune that someone else pops up with the same name, just calls it something slightly different. A little bit naughty, so people don't be fooled. That is a poor imitation of the original. There is only one Neptune, and that's our Neil, so remember that. So, as regards payments, all of my payments from August are in, and all of the, except one, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. All of September payments are in that are due. So everything that was due 30 days at the end of the month has all been paid, everybody. So it's just the 45 days that I'll expect in a couple of weeks. And the company itself has now got a healthy cash surplus because I've had all my payments in time. Most weeks I've made over target, and I've actually got a surplus in the company now. So after over 4 months of trading and waiting for your money to come in, it's all starting to take shape. I've got money in the bank. We're not talking fortunes here, don't get me wrong, but you know, we've got a surplus in the bank. I've got plenty of money in the reserve account. That is where I put all my VAT money, which obviously I don't touch until the demand comes in. And some of that will be mine after my claims for my VAT go in. And also money that I put away every week, still religiously, £50 a week goes in the bank every week for the maintenance and upkeep of the van. So that's all looking pretty good. Now, that one non-payer, this is from August. I did a job for a company, beginning of August, the end of the month, the end of September when that money was due. Obviously, I sent reminders. I didn't get any response whatsoever. I looked on the CX and the guy had started to get some negative feedback, that company. So that obviously made me concerned. I did try to ring several times, no reply, left messages, sent a few texts. And then last week, I got a text back from him to say, I'm sorry I've not been in touch, but I've been in hospital and I've had an operation. And he sent me this picture. If you've got a nervous disposition, you might want to look away right now. Ooh, that's nasty, isn't it? So he's not been working. He's been in hospital. He's had an operation. Now, if someone gets in touch with me and they've got some kind of money issues, you can work with them, can't you? As long as they let you know. So I've told the guy, look, I know you got some problems. I'm willing to wait a bit longer. Just keep in touch and let me know how it's going. So I'm going to leave it and give him a little bit of time. It's not a massive amount. It's £138, but obviously it's better in my pocket than not. But at least the guy got back to me. He's obviously got money issues. He's not been able to work. He's had this operation. So I'm going to cut the guy some slack. I'm going to give him some time to do it. So now, I've got my business cards. They've come. Let me show you one, just so that... Oh, you know what? I should have been prepared for this, really, shouldn't I? There they are. Details on the back as well. Quite chuffed with them. And I have been attempting to do some marketing. And what I've done so far is I've been sending emails out to companies who I think would be interested in my services as a courier of hazardous goods. So I've just been restricting it at the moment to companies in my locality. And when I've had some spare time or waiting or bidding, I look up on Google at companies in my area. I've not used the CX directory yet. That's something that I will consider going into as well. And I've been sending off an email with a link to my website explaining what Amber Logistics do, how we specialise in the transportation of hazardous goods, how we're insured for it, licensed for it, the vehicle's equipped for it, and asking them if they'd be interested or have a need for next day or same day delivery requirements. Now, obviously not everyone replies, but I have had replies. I've had replies from 4 of the ones that I've sent out. Now, some of them are probably just, yes, thanks very much. We've noted your things. I'll pass it on to our relevant department. One of which seemed quite interested, and the other one was pretty reasonably interested. In fact, so much that they responded with an email to say, we do mainly HGV work. However, there are occasions when we would need to send things out on a smaller vehicle where it's not economic to send it on a wagon. And feel free to give me a ring next week and book an appointment, and possibly we can have a chat. So that's promising, isn't it? It's not a guarantee, but taking the advice from the chaps at Firkin Freight, who said that unless you get off your ass and do something, the customers won't come to you. That's what I've been trying on a small scale, admittedly, and I will pick it up a bit. But it shows it does work. You can generate some interest. So I'm going to arrange, if they don't, contact me, I'll be contacting them and saying, look, is it possible I can come down and have a chat with you? And hopefully that will be a promising sign. So all in all, things are going okay. There are still disappointing days on the 6th, of course there are. There are days when it's very frustrating and you're bidding and you can't understand why you don't get a job. There are days where you just can't get a job. I've had them. You probably saw video clips last week of me trying to get work and didn't succeed, and then got it later on. And then there's been days where you just seem to have the Midas touch, and everything you bid for you get, and you get returns, and it all works out fine. So there's no set guarantee with the CX, but on the whole, the CX has worked for me because I have had no other choice in the past, because I didn't have any other work at all. Now I'm doing okay. I've got work booked for Monday, so that Monday's taken care of, and more than likely Tuesday as well. So you can kind of rest easy over the weekend knowing that the first 2 days of the week are kind of taken care of already. And by the way, none of that work is CX related. Again, it's contacts that I've made. And that's why don't just sit back and do nothing. Get talking to people, interact with people, and just build up a little community of people that you know. And it does pay dividends. It definitely pays dividends. I couldn't say that enough. Relying just on the CX will probably get you an income, but if you want to just move up another step, then you really do need to do some networking and get out there. But on the whole, we're happy. I hope that everybody out there is doing well. I am in contact with a couple of guys who have recently who reached out to me through the channel, and we've been chatting and seeing how they're getting on. And I'm pleased to say that they both seem to be doing okay. Lee, who did my website, he only started last week. A little bit nervous. He'd never done it before. But when I looked at his CX profile, his feedback's excellent. So he's obviously doing something right there, isn't he? So that's good news. And I hope that he carries on. And he's still a little bit nervous, but he's getting his confidence more and more each day. Drives a small van called Francis Couriers, if any shipper out there are interested in him. And have a look at his feedback. He does a really, really, really good job. And that's it. That's all I've got to say. Things are looking reasonably bright. Bad days, good days. But on the whole, I'm reasonably happy. I'll be grateful if you watch this and you like the video, if you press the like button, because it does get the video out to lots of other people. And I'd be grateful that if you haven't subscribed to this channel, press the subscribe button, absolutely free. Just means that you get the videos as they come out. And I hope that you find these videos useful to you. Like I said last time, if anybody's interested or any suggestions about a video I can make that you think might help, then if I'm feeling qualified to make that video, then I will make it. If you have any questions like before, pop them down. I'll always try and answer. I've had quite a few recently, and I'll probably do another one of those Q&A ones to cover them all to benefit other people. Please carry on, drive safe. Winter's here, it's getting cold, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you for watching.